Welcome to Community Cocktails with Kimberly, hosted by Kimberly Woodard, a realtor who's been selling homes in North Texas with more than 21 years of experience. Join her every first and third Wednesday of the month as she meets with top community leaders, local businesses, and real estate industry experts to help you get to know the area you want to call home. Don't just love your home, love your community. And now your host, Kimberly Woodard.
Welcome, viewers, to this episode of Community Cocktails with Kimberly. I am so thrilled about today's episode because we all love trends and we all love to redecorate our homes and keep up with the latest trends. And today I have Abigail with Abigail Doty Design. Welcome, Abigail.
Hello, how are you?
Good. So we are going to talk so much fun about interior designs and people wanting to make changes and keep up with the trends for their homes. And
Of course, 2024 I feel like is like the year of change when it comes to design. So I'm so excited to share all of it with y'all.
I love it. Well, let's talk about you first and how you got into the design world.
Well, it's interesting because my background is actually in operations, but my passion is in design. It always has been for years. And so years I spent doing different design projects, helping out friends and family. I kind of self-taught, studied, all the different things. And we have personally redone and gutted 2 homes, kind of down to the 2x4s and like cement floors. And I've designed them from the ground up. I've helped so many friends on like 3 or 4 like massive home builds. And a couple of years ago, I finally was like, I need to start charging for this. Like I need to go into business doing this and not doing it for free.
Right.
Because it is really like what just brings me so much joy. And so a few years ago, I actually created Abigail Doty Design and started business. And, it has just kind of like blossomed from there. We're so excited 2024. We have a lot of things coming, a lot of new adventures. We're creating our own furniture collection line.
Oh, that's exciting.
So I'm really, really excited for that, to kind of bring my like visions to life.
Yes.
And so that will be launching in 2024.
Okay.
We have an entire like furniture and accessory line that we're launching on our website. So we're kind of going through a lot of changes right now. We have added team members. So yeah, 2024 is going to be a great year.
Yes.
And that is kind of a backstory of how I got into design. And it's just blown up over the past couple of years. And so, yeah.
Now we're here.
Exactly.
And going forward.
That's right.
Well, let's talk about, everyone's dying to hear the latest trends. I mean, we always hear, this is the color of the year and, this is what you should do. This is what you need to throw away.
Of course. I think, and it's funny because I always like to say like design is what you make it and it's your style. So, it's like, if you love it, go for it. Like do what makes you happy, what's going to make your house feel like a home. But you're right. Everyone wants to know what's in, what's out, what's going to make my house stand apart. And I will start with saying like the biggest thing that is out right now is the grays. Like grays are kind of are moving into the past. Okay. And we're seeing a lot more like muted earthy tones, bringing back the browns. And so it's interesting because all this whites and grays that we incorporated into designs in our homes is kind of seen as yesterday. So that is probably one of the biggest things I would say is out right now in 2024.
Very interesting. Well, I'm glad that I kept, I just used pop of color with my brows.
There you go. Yes.
It did not do great walls. I did kind of the more undertone with the, little, just neutral. Because, I tried to keep it neutral so I could use pops of color.
And that is what is perfect because, all of the gray walls, the gray flooring and everything, we are seeing a drastic change in that, going more towards the neutrals, bringing in a lot of wood tones and natural elements. And we're seeing a huge shift in that in the homes. So,
wow. I love, I do love that natural wood. And look, I'm seeing it a lot in the homes when I go to some of the new construction models, which are always, a good tip if people want to go, walk and see some of the latest trends. But, a lot of the builders are starting with the neutral, and you're bringing back the wood on the cabinet, some of the natural wood where it was, everything was white.
White, yes.
Now, white, of course, it's always classic, but it was like before you would not see a house that was not, for a period of time, it was white. There was no wood.
Exactly.
So now you're seeing a mixture.
I totally agree. But you brought up a good point where you're like, white is timeless. And that is one of the biggest things that I think right now that we can take away from 2024 is that it's kind of like a timeless aesthetic, timeless, like quiet luxury, elegance look, investing in pieces that are going to be timeless, that are going to last you. So, I personally have a white kitchen, but it has a lot of like traditional elements in the, millwork and stuff. And so I think that still suits very well and is going to last a long time. It's kind of like marble is timeless. It's never going to go out of style.
Right.
And it's here to stick around. So yes, while we're bringing in a lot of the natural wood tones and accents of wood in different areas, you still can never go wrong with some white in some areas.
No, I agree. And I have a white kitchen too. I have white with natural.
Yes.
I have, so the cabinets are all white, but I have the natural brick, which is kind of a brownish. So it has a combo, I guess.
There you go. Yes.
But those elements, it's just classic. I love my white cabinets.
So do I. It's like bright, crisp, clean.
Yeah.
I agree. And then I love to accent with colors.
Yes.
And, some of the hottest colors right now we are wanting to create like moody spaces, and we're seeing like a lot of saturated hues that are being incorporated in different spaces for accent colors. And one that I'm personally loving right now is like a deep red. Now, people sometimes are like red, and it's, it can be bright, it can be overwhelming, but like a red with like a brown undertone, like a true brown undertone. Okay. So it's really deep. And it's fun to incorporate these in like powder bathrooms. If you're afraid to like go bold in big spaces,
right,
you can always start, in a powder bathroom where you can keep it kind of like contained and, fun in that small space. So that has been a really great color to bring into different spaces.
Very interesting. I like the red because we saw red years back.
Yeah.
And everyone, I'm guilty too. You put it in your dining room. I had a red dining room. I remember when we decided to change it, and my husband was like, "Oh my," because you have to, how many coats?
A coat of paint to cover it up. Yes.
But it did stimulate eating. Now, though, granted, when I redid our house, I don't, it's a stimulator. It's not. The master bedroom was red. Yeah. And I was like, why would you do that? Same thing. My painter's like, oh my gosh, is this ever gonna?
How many coats of primer do you have to put over it to change the color? I agree.
Yes.
But that's why it's awesome to incorporate it, whether it's paint or it's wallpaper. Like wallpaper is huge. And I love wallpaper because it can just give you a different feel for a space. And so it's great to incorporate that wherever you can.
And I like that you mentioned the wallpaper, because I think wallpaper is, a lot of people can't invest in the artwork or even know what to buy for artwork, but that's like an artwork type of.
It is.
For an accent.
I see when I go into a lot of homes, people tend to decorate with family photos, which is fine. I love to incorporate family photos where I can, but I think that there's a way to do that. Mm-hmm. And kind of sometimes less is a little bit more when it comes to that. But, a lot of times people will make like gallery walls down long hallways and stuff. And sometimes just like clearing out those walls and just creating that hallway space with like wallpaper is a great way to accent and give it some design and without overloading it. Right. With multiple things hanging on the wall.
I agree. I end up, when people go to sell, we end up taking a lot of that down.
He's like, let's clear some of this out.
Realizing. So, but it's always fun. It's because you go through that wall and it's like memory lane. And so when the potential buyer, they're like going through that person's memory lane.
Yes. My favorite is, if you have family photos up, like change them out. Instead I go into sometimes and people just keep adding them. So you really do go down memory lane where like you see the baby to the, senior graduation.
Right.
And it's like, okay, just keep the one frame and like change out the photos on it.
Right. I know. Now that's what I do. I don't have I've always been bad. I've never done like real big. I did one time a portrait of our family and patted, over the fireplace. And that was, my kids are, 20 and 17, and that was, they were probably 2 and 5 at that time. So, you can tell how long that's been. Anyways, but I have like certain frames where this is their like pictures, like their school picture frame, and this
and just change them out.
Changes out, or our family photo from the beach that gets changed out every year. So let's talk about spaces. Everyone's wanting some of the trends that we are seeing. Like we kind of touched on the kitchen with the new with the more wood tones going in there.
Another thing I'll add with kitchens, if you have the space or you're doing a new home or remodel, secondary spaces are huge. Like you're seeing these like butler's pantries, additional kitchen spaces that you can transition to, which are, awesome. You're also seeing an increase in like wet bar areas, like specialty drink areas. Obviously this is always if space accommodates, but that is one thing that's big in kitchens. Overall that you're seeing throughout homes is like fluted details. So like wood fluting on the front of an island is gorgeous. And it brings in that natural element. So I love kind of like pairing that with white cabinets. You can do a white kitchen with like the fluted detail on the front of the island. And you're seeing that detail throughout different areas of the house. And so those are one of the biggest things that right now in kitchens that you're kind of seeing. And then also bring in the natural elements even in like incorporating sinks, and into spaces and stuff. So whether that be like a stone sink. And so those are great additions right now that are really popular and kind of hot of 2024.
Very interesting. So very natural, very, earthy.
Yes.
In a way. So let's talk about our living spaces. Everyone wants that cozy space. And maybe let's tap into if they have that, sofa, they don't want to invest, what would you say would be the easy ways to liven up that family room?
So I will say that I think 2024 is about investing in high quality, timeless pieces. And, kind of out is the quick furniture, the cheap furniture that's not going to last you. So finding those pieces that can actually like go through different periods with you. And I think we have seen a lot of like oversized sectionals.
Yes.
And let's kind of like move away from the oversized sectionals, but instead do oversized different furniture pieces. For example, like coffee tables, they kind of create like a sculptural design element into the space. So let's open up the space with additional seating and creating a more inviting space, but doing more stately pieces. Instead of just like one oversized sectional that kind of like crams and makes the room feel smaller.
Gotcha. Very nice. Yes. I love having those extra little spaces and conversational spaces.
Additional little chair sets and to break up the area.
Oh yeah, because some of the rooms, they are so big, and you're like, and then all of a sudden you have this. Someone will cram just a sofa and right in this, and you have all this space here. You're like, you could really utilize that, with the different conversational paces.
Of course,
especially if you're trying to entertain or something like that. Just more seating around. So
of course,
love that. Let's venture, which I love. It's one of my favorites, is outdoor spaces.
Yes. I love outdoor space. And I think the biggest takeaway of this year is kind of blurring the lines between an indoor and outdoor space. Really making it to where the indoor space becomes the outdoor space. So making those living spaces flow together. So we're talking about like wide doors that open up that you can just flow perfectly easily out to the outdoor living area is one of the biggest things that we're seeing. And then, with that comes, we have seen outdoor kitchens for a long time, but they're really being incorporated, with the pizza ovens, just different things that can kind of bring the family together as a unit. And obviously that also is great for like entertainment purposes and stuff. It opens up your space, gives you more area to entertain. And so that's one of the things we're seeing. We're seeing in the outdoor spaces more color being brought in, bring in some accents of color.
Yep.
Now shifting to kind of like brick exterior and stuff, we more monochromatic hues on the exterior of homes. So think about like right now, or in the past year, we have seen a lot of like the white and black.
Yes.
Like harsh.
Oh, very harsh.
We're seeing kind of a shift, away from that, getting more into like monochromatic hues. We're seeing a lot more people not actually touching the brick, leaving it as the brick is and incorporating color onto the front door. Black, a deep moody green is really big, like for example, for a red brick and stuff. So we're seeing a shift away from that white and black, going into, like we mentioned earlier, more of the earth tones.
Yes.
Kind of on the exterior of the house. Really right now in regards to like exterior plants is a lot of like just like greens on greens.
Yep.
To bring depth to the landscape. And so I would say that's kind of what's going on with the outdoor space.
And I love the outdoor space. It's my favorite. And I will say that a pizza oven is a must-have. We have one. We invested in one a couple years ago, and it is so fun. Yeah, it is. I mean, we've got the wood burning one. It is. It is better than just having a grill. And we've done other things. It's not just pizzas. You can do chicken and all kinds of fun stuff. But it brings the family, and whenever we do things, we set it up and we've had people over, and it's just a fun
That's what we love about it, is creating those spaces that are such a good, like family-oriented friends environment. With the living spaces kind of combined indoors and outdoors is awesome.
Yes. And I love, greens and very, let's say hardy, easy.
I was going to say,
we were looking at our yard yesterday afternoon, and of course, like, nothing's, everything's dead and everything looks like twigs right now. And I'm like, okay, a couple months.
I know in Texas, especially, you have to go with the hardy plants and stuff.
Yes.
And over the past couple of months, our garage, I swear, has become like the jungle because, at this house, we moved to where we have a lot of outdoor plants in pots because for whatever reason, the winters here keep getting colder and more harsh. And, the agave plants and that just can't, they can't stand it. So we end up moving them all into the garage.
Oh, no.
I'm like, okay, it's time to get these back out.
Yes. Well, we've learned so much. Now, one tip, I guess, one advice, if you were, I know we talked a lot about in summary for our viewers, if you wanted to do one thing and you were maybe on a budget, but you wanted to do one thing in your home for the trends, what would you do?
Lighting.
Okay, lighting.
Layering of lighting is huge right now, and you can never go wrong with lighting. Lighting is like the statement piece, the focals of your home. And so if you're going to invest in one thing, I would invest in lighting. That kind of, you can bring your personality out with the lighting, and it can really take a room up to the next level by, investing in a chandelier,
right?
Different lighting aspects.
Oh, I love that tip. So viewers, if you are on a budget, go to lighting.
Yes.
And it'll change that room from one look to another. Yeah. It's kind of like clothes.
That's so true. It is so true.
It's like my shoes. Well, I've had so much fun. And I know the viewers have learned so much today. And if you guys want to reach out to Abigail, her contact information is here. Give her a call if you want her to come over and get to work on your place. Whatever you need, she'll be there to help. And cheers to 2024.
Cheers.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Apple and Spotify, as well as Kimberly's YouTube channel. If you'd like to contact Kimberly directly, you can email her at kimberlywoodard@ebby.com or call 214-632-2092. We hope you enjoyed our guest this week. And remember, don't just love your home, love your community.